Yo, what's cracking YouTube? It's your boy Anthony's Prison. Yo, I'm back with a brand new video. I'm back in that mode to give y'all some more of this content, some more of these questions that, I'm asking and I really want to hear from y'all. So you run across this video, you already know the deal. Drop a like and drop a comment. Let me know what y'all think. But today, what we're going to be getting into is talking about remasters, a little bit about remakes and reboots and stuff like that, but mostly remasters. Is it enough? This console generation seems like original IPs have gone out the window, but these companies have been milking the hell out of remasters and remakes, and it's crazy. And that's what we're gonna be getting into today. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into this. Express 2 Live, and yeah, let's get it. So look, recently Bethesda has gained a rare W and shadow dropped the Elder Scrolls Oblivion remaster. Now some people may argue that it's a remake, and I understand because it has a lot of new bells and whistles, but me personally, I call it a remaster. And it got the gears turning in my little head, and basically I started to think about all the remasters and remakes we had this console generation, and it's quite a bit. Some of them really good, like the Oblivion remaster or the RE4 remake, and some of them not so good, like the Saints Row reboot, which is technically obviously a reboot, but the game was atrocious. To say that was a dumpster fire is an understatement. I already made a video on that, but listen, I digress. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of remaking and remastering and redoing, and it has me asking the question, is it enough? Does that count as somewhat of a new game? Obviously it's a new gaming experience if you've never played it, but if you played it before and they remaster it, they touch it up or do what they got to do, and they re-release it for full price, is that enough? Because I'm saying a lot of these companies are just putting shit out and then charging you full price for something that you already paid for, and that's if the actual product is good, let alone if the remaster or whatever isn't up to par to the original. And some of these originals have released years prior. I mean, look at the GTA trilogy remaster re-release, full price, and the original 3 games, which came out over a decade ago, they're better. I mean, it's missing music, it had glitches, it was atrocious, it was pretty bad. But obviously I will be playing that Oblivion remaster eventually. Looking at this console generation, I think you already know I'm team original IP. We need more original games out here, and these remasters are just kind of cash grabs a lot of the time. And here's the thing, I'm not against remasters or remakes, but for me personally, I think that games that need remasters or remakes are more welcome than ones that don't. Think about how many times Sony has remade The Last of Us 2 and tried to charge full price, or the first Last of Us game, and just milk certain titles like that for something that doesn't really even need to be remade. The game was already good. It wasn't, it was made years prior, but it still holds up. Same thing with something like Days Gone. When they remastered Days Gone for the PS5 Pro or whatever the case may be, the game didn't need a remaster, the game needed a sequel. And that's what I'm saying. Now I get it, remasters and sometimes remakes or whatever the case may be may actually be less of a resource intensive and also less of a risk, right? But damn, if you're remaking something that doesn't need to be remade and you're selling it full price, you're kind of just finessing me. I might as well just go to an alley, find a dude in a trench coat, and just buy whatever he's selling, because that's what y'all doing. And it's ridiculous. I think that there are games that are older that do deserve to be remade or remastered, but that's because they are so old that things have gone out of style, and that the remake will be more welcome, or the remaster will be more welcome, right? That quality of life features, new controls, new graphics, obviously, maybe some new camera work or some new animations, things like that. If the game is old enough to warrant it, I'm all for it. But a lot of these companies are milking games that don't need to really be touched, and it sucks because when you look at somebody like Sony, Sony is good for that. How are you going to remaster The Last of Us 2 multiple times, charge us full price, when you have a whole catalog of games that you could remaster or remake, get sequels to? You know, y'all have these IPs that y'all sitting on. We need a new Infamous game. We could use a new Killzone, whatever. And I get it. Sometimes it's the studios that make these games that are onto new things. Like in the example of Killzone, I know that their Sucker Punch. So I think it's Killzone. I'll look into it. But I know that studio is actually moved on. I think they actually made Horizon Zero Dawn. That's Guerrilla Games, right? They're actually onto a new IP. But for those who aren't, when they're sitting on these old classic games that could use a touch up or a sequel, it's infuriating. But yeah, that's me just, going off the top and talking a whole lot. But yo, that's what's been on my mind, thinking about these remasters and these games that are just being touched up, whether that be to a degree of an Oblivion or RE4 remake, or if it's just to the degree of something like the GTA trilogy or The Last of Us 2 or whatever, where they're not really doing much but upscaling it a little bit and selling it back to you at full price. My thing is, there's games that deserve that treatment, that are years and years and years old, that should be experienced by a younger generation, and there are games that should just flat out get sequels or make something original. That's how I feel. But if you run across this video, you got this far, appreciate you. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It's probably going to be a short one, but I want to hear from y'all, man. Sound off in them comments. Let me know, am I asking the right questions? Does this video just ass? Or how do y'all feel about remasters and remakes and making, games over again and charging full price? Is it a finesse, or do you think that it's warranted, and would you pay for it? But without further ado, I'm not finna drag this out no more. Just like that, man, we out of here.